Hello, hello, hello! I like to get right into the prompts I'm completing, so let's do that. The first one is on pages 72 and 73, and it says, create a split decision. Write or draw the first thing that comes to mind. And for me, that was boba tea. The reason I thought of it was because I was drinking some at the time, so there you go. Pretty plain and simple. However, I wanted my boba teacups to be special, so I made them with pop-up lids. I thought I could add more detail if I drew this kind of lid. Usually, the boba tea that I buy has a plastic seal over the cup, but I didn't want mine to be like that. Instead, I wanted a kitty cup, a panda cup, and a cup with a kawaii or cute face. To start my drawings, I did sketch off screen and outline my sketch using my new Sakura pigment liners. I recently actually got a comment requesting I show my sketching process, so I'll make sure and try doing that in one of my future videos. Actually, for this video, I'm trying something out per a comment as well. I don't know if you noticed, but I'm not using stamps on Create This Book 2 this time. I don't know if I'll continue not to use stamps, but I definitely wanted to give it a try, especially since one of you requested it. It did feel a little more liberating to not have to use the stamps that I have at home, but I also kind of really like the challenge of having to use what I have. I did have to skip a couple of pages though, because I had already planned some stamps for the previous pages. That video will come out at a later date. Okay, so back to my boba tea drawing. I wanted the boba to look a little realistic, so I used a dark brown to color in the circles at the bottom of the cups, and then an even darker brown in the center. Then I went over it all again with my first color. I thought that having a really dark center would give the illusion of roundness. I didn't show myself coloring in every cup though, because I did all of them the same. After my boba was all colored in, I had to choose a color scheme for my cups. Of course, I went with the rainbow color scheme. 3 cups, 6 colors, no indigo. For my first cup, I wanted to make a rosy-cheeked kitty. I like this neon color in my Prismacolor pencils a lot, so I chose that one for the cup's cheeks, nose, and ears. And since I really like some pink in my rainbow, I made the straw pink too. For the drink itself, I started with red and blended into orange all the way to the bottom. Instead of pressing really hard to show the color of the pencil or doing a ton of layers, I simply colored in lightly with my Prismacolored pencils and then went in with my blender pencil. These are so handy, but mine was getting short. I had to stop in the middle of this drawing to go get another blender pencil. Interestingly though, while I was out, I also got some Gamsol, which I'll be using later in this video to blend my colored pencils. For my second cup, I used the Y&G and Roy G. Biv. Drawing and coloring in the middle of the book was pretty difficult, but I'm glad I did it because I think the set of 3 cups looks really good together. For my third cup, like I said, I wanted to have a panda, but I wasn't going to color it black because that would have been too dark, I think. So instead I colored it in purple. And since purple and blue were going to be the colors of this drink, I made the straw blue. And just like the other cups, I blended my colors lightly and brought out the true color with my Prismacolored pencil blender. For my finishing touches, after I had Mod Podged the page, I added some highlight with my white gel pen to show off how glossy and chewy boba is. The next prompt on pages 74 and 75 said to create a wish and make my wish here. My personal wish is to feel confident in my artistic abilities, and I thought I'd express that by not only writing it out, but also by drawing a dreamy cloud with wings around an iconic artist and piece of art. My versions, of course. They might look like a little kid drew them, but that's where my current level is at, and I'll never put myself down for it, even if I do have doubts and insecurities. Because not only am I enjoying myself and actively trying to get better, but I also know that everyone has a starting point. I'm patient and self-loving enough to know that's okay. I sketched out my beautiful ladies and outlined them with my pigment liners. To write out Frida Kahlo and Mona Lisa, I tried to write it out in a bubble typography to match the cloudy aesthetic I had going on. I really struggled to decide if I should use my blender pencil on this piece because I was loving the texture of the colored pencil on the paper. I was about to leave it as is, but I thought to myself, I'll never really know if I would have liked it better blended, so I took the plunge and did it. To my surprise, I loved it even more blended than not. And I'm so serious when I said I was not going to blend it. I was so scared to blend it out and not like it, but I ended up feeling really proud of myself for leaning into the discomfort and my willingness to destroy the drawing. I guess I was a bit of a risk taker. And the risk was totally worth the biscuit. How does the saying go? I risked it to get the biscuit. And that biscuit was yummy. On pages 76 and 77 was the prompt, create a modified character. Choose an existing character, draw them with one modification. For example, change color, remove part of a costume, etc. I wanted to draw Garfield because I feel he's easily recognized, so even with some modification, it'd be obvious who he was. I initially wanted to color him as a Cheshire Cat from Disney's Alice in Wonderland, but thought better of it and decided to color him in as another animated cat. Can you tell which one? Let me know if you guessed it before I said it. It's, drumroll please, Pink Panther. I went in with my Posca marker and outlined him with the bright pink in my set, which I think matched Pink Panther perfectly. To make it even more apparent who Garfield is modified to be, I added Pink Panther's thick eyebrows. I am so happy with how this prompt turned out. I did my best to match my Prismacolor pencils, and this is the piece I used Gamsol with. I do think I need a smaller and denser brush though. The Gamsol spread beyond the drawing and looked oily. I was so worried I had ruined it by trying something new, but I gave it a lot of time to dry, and to my surprise, it didn't look oily at all anymore. Yay! Oh, and I don't know if I need to keep repeating this, but for every piece of art I colored in with colored pencils, no matter how I blended it, I did Mod Podge it. This next prompt kind of bummed me out a little bit. It's on pages 78 and 79, and it said, create incompletion. Start drawing something on this page, never finish it. How cruel and evil, Moriah. I think that's just so messed up. Although I do say that, but I still had so much fun with this drawing. My idea was to draw an adorable strawberry milk cow. I've seen those around a lot and I felt really inspired. I started by drawing a frame of strawberries around her, and then I moved on to her sweet little strawberry bows. I feel like she came out so cute, and I feel so guilty for never finishing her. I didn't even give her any color. Even her little tail was a strawberry at the end. Her face is just so happy, like she's waiting for me to finish drawing her. She looks so kind and loving. I feel like I did her dirty by putting her on this page that is destined to never be completed. I still love her though, with all of my heart. I semi-finished this page by adding seeds to the 3 out of 4 strawberries. The 4th never to be drawn into existence. Poor strawberry. Create contrast is the next prompt on pages 80 and 81. The details state, write about the high point of your day and write about the low point of your day. For the high point of my day, I didn't want to outline my drawing this time. I used dark and lighter shades of one color to make the individual elements stand out. I started by drawing myself as a happy emoji surrounded by hearts. I had cut my hair, so I drew myself in a bob, but ironically, as of doing this voiceover, I cut my hair again. I'll have to create a thumbnail with my face in it or something for a future video to show my new hairstyle. Anywho, this page was about the high of my day, which was talking to my sister on the phone. I don't live close to her, so I always feel so full of love, refreshed, and energized when I'm done talking to her. I'm no realism artist, so I decided to draw the both of us as emojis, with the only identifying feature being our hair and her glasses. It was a lot of fun going through the emojis on my phone, trying to find just the right one to illustrate how I felt our conversation went. For me, it was the one surrounded by hearts, and for her, it was the smiley one with rosy cheeks. So cute. I accidentally overdrew her emoji's face, so I used my white Posca to white out the error. It worked very well. I was a little worried my strawberry cow's outline would be too distracting, but because the emojis are so colorful, I don't think it took away at all. Lastly, to show that we had talked on the phone, I drew one of these older corded phones. Even though I only use my cell phone nowadays, these still say phone call in my head. If I ever need to draw a phone again in the future, I guess I'll try drawing a cell phone, but that seems kind of strange to me. The low of my day was a little sad. I was feeling emotional and I cried. A lot. But I don't think my sadness is anything to feel ashamed of or run away from, so I drew it out. I thought the perfect emoji for this was the one with waterfalls streaming down its face. I drew myself in a comfy blanket and my yellow emoji feetsies popping out. For the most part, I pressed really hard with my Prismacolor pencils, so no blending was needed. But when it came to the blanket, I drew very lightly and left the texture because I felt it looked like an actual blanket's texture. And that's all for today. I hope you know, but if you don't, I'm so thankful that you watched this entire video and truly hope you enjoyed it as much as I did making it. I hope you subscribe so we can see each other again in the next one. Bye!